I think I find as I get older with my hobby of video games that I tend to gravitate towards portable gaming. And with portable gaming being so popular at the moment, with stuff of like the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and in more recent memory, the past year or so, Nintendo Switch 2, I feel a lot more people who are in their late 20s and early 30s, or in my case, nearly mid 30s. At the time of recording, I'm 33 or just turned 33 years old. Um, Tend to gravitate towards portable gaming, and I think the reason why we tend to do that at the moment is because being busy adults, you don't tend to have as much time to play games. I'm not saying like I'm looking at my PS5 here. Um, I'm not saying it's like so laborious to turn on a console and turn your television on, but when you wake up in the morning or you want to settle down in the evening, um, turning on like a Switch, or in my case, I've got several to show in a minute in this video, like a PSP or something, is far easier than going into your living room, turning on your television, then booting up your PS5 or Xbox or whatever your poison of choice is in terms of video games. Um, the way I equate it is like reading a good book on like rainy days, that sort of thing. But I find especially since I've moved here to Norfolk, um, from Bristol, where my life has kind of slowed down in a good way. Because I live in quite a rural area now compared to like Bristol, which was quite fast paced, quite like keeping up with everything, that sort of thing. Um, I gravitate towards portable gaming. Like, not to say that portable gaming wasn't a part of my life when I was a kid, that sort of thing, but I always kind of saw it as a sort of side activity when I was younger, as opposed to it being a sort of like main gaming choice. Like the Game Boy when it first came out, like the original Game Boy, that sort of thing. They were more distraction tools, like something you play like in a car journey, like a 30-minute car journey, or when you're on the bus or on the train, that sort of thing. Or you just want something to fiddle with. Don't take that anywhere, by the way. But they were distractions. They were time wasters. Whereas as portable gaming went on, they became more sort of in depth to their bigger console brothers, and I just kind of want to talk about like my experience with portable gaming as I've gotten older, um, throughout the years. I mean, as I said before, portable games are a massive part of life, but let me talk about it, shall I? So my first experience with a portable gaming system is obviously the original Game Boy. It came out in 1989, but that if you know your gaming history, the original Game Boy had quite a long cycle throughout the years because it was quite cheap to make, and there were just lots of good games that came out on it. I mean, they had like an iteration of it, the Game Boy Color, in the late 90s. There were quite a few. There were far and few exclusives for the Game Boy Color, but lots of games that came out still also ran on the original Game Boy. And I remember loving it. Super Mario Land 1 and 2 being my personal favourites on there. Not a massive Pokemon fan, sorry to say. You probably know already when I talked about Switch games in my collection in the video before. A few, last month I think it was. But yeah, not a massive Pokemon fan, sorry. But Mario Land 1 and 2, Metroid 2, Link's Awakening, those games were really good for their time. But it wasn't until 2004 when I got a Game Boy Advance for Christmas. If I can grab it here. Not the Game Boy Advance I got. This is my partner's modded GBA, which has a really good backlight on it. Yeah, I got a Game Boy Advance for Christmas. I do have my original behind me here on the shelf, but it's a bit scratched these days. But I got Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and what I like about the GBA Advance SP, it was the SP model as well, by the way. Um, that is basically like a Super Nintendo, but in the palm of your hands. And I remember playing Mario vs. Donkey Kong, quite a tricky game. I bought the remake of it on Switch recently, pointing to my shelf over there, or our shelf. Um, Being a very tricky game, but having these Super Nintendo-like games in my pocket, and that was the other thing. Portables back in the day, they were truly portable. You could slip them in your back pocket. But digressions aside, having like Super Nintendo-like games and even like ports of Super Nintendo games on the Game Boy Advance was so good. It made me go, "Wow! I can't wait where portable gaming would go next." And I would get a DS eventually. But again, I had a DS. I remember enjoying it, but I didn't play it that much, if I'm going to be completely honest. When I was younger, I had a decent amount of games. I even had like Resident Evil, the port of the first one on the DS back in the day. I was like 14, 15. I can't remember how old I was when that version came out. Um, yeah, I didn't play as much. I got a PSP in 2006. This is not my original, by the way. This is one I bought last year. Got my PSP, and I remember being blown away from it. Blown away of it. Yeah, I played it a fair amount, but again, didn't invest a lot of time into it. But because as I said before, when I was younger, I saw like portable consoles still as that sort of distraction tool when you're out and about. You're in a waiting room, or in the case of me later when I was about 18 or something, when I was at college, playing it in the common room before my lectures would start. Uh, but I got the 3DS later on in 2011. Again, not my 3DS, my partner's 3DS XL here. My old 3DS is haggard and gone now. But again, didn't play it. But let's fast forward to my late 20s. I was 28. Was it 28? Yeah, 28 when I got the Nintendo Switch here. Again, not my original Nintendo Switch, because I got a Nintendo Switch Lite originally. I've got an OLED now. I don't have a Switch 2. Not planning on getting one anytime soon. But yeah, the Switch kind of like reinvigorated my passion for portable gaming. I still didn't play as much because I was still living in Bristol at the time, living at home with my parents still. You know, they kind of go like, "Oh, you're playing games again," that sort of thing. And yeah, because sometimes parents do kind of go like, "Oh, you're wasting your time," that sort of thing. Like playing that in the morning, they'd be like, "Oh," it's like, well, it was a good distraction before my day started. But it reinvigorated my interest in portable gaming. And when I moved here to Norfolk in 2023, it became my main game console of choice. And I remember this because my partner, she's quite supportive of gaming and stuff like that. She's got a Switch too. I'm looking at it here. Her Tears of the Kingdom Switch that's in the dock in front of me under the telly. Um, but yeah, we play our Switches together in the morning before we have to do things for the day, before she goes to work, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's that sort of thing because the Switch you can play in bursts, or you can play for an hour or two, that sort of thing. Because it's got games that are equal that measure. You've got your time wasters, but you've also got your in-depth games that you want to play. And what I like about the Switch, and since I moved to Norfolk in 2023, is that it's kind of like become the book of my game playing, if you know what I mean. Like you have a good book, and you sit in you pick a corner that you want to cozy up in, and you kind of snuggle up and you play it, and it's that sort of thing. And that's what it's become. My portable gaming experiences now is that sort of when I've got real downtime, or if it's a rainy Sunday afternoon, I will grab a portable console and play it in the corner while my partner, she will play the PlayStation 5 on the telly here, because she likes to play it during the day on her days off, that sort of thing. That's good. And I play my Switch or whatever portable console I want to play, which I've got sat right next to me, which I'll show off in a bit. Yeah, the Switch really got me back into it, and when I moved here in Norfolk, it really got me going too, because that sort of downtime, instead of like scrolling on my phone or something, I don't know why I'm reaching there when I'm filming on my phone right now. I would just play, I don't know, Zelda Breath of the Wild for like an hour, or at the moment I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey again, which has been absolutely wonderful. But the Nintendo Switch, I absolutely love it for like that sort of like cozy up, because I can play like big AAA games on it. I can play games that are just like the classic sort of style of like time wasters that you can play for like 20-30 minutes. And yeah, it kick-started my sort of like gaming renaissance, as it were, with portable gaming again. And in 2020, when did I buy it? Was it 24 or 25? I think it was 2025. That renaissance kind of went further, and I'll get into it. So in 2025, like many, I bought a PSP again. I had lots of CEX voucher. I traded in a bunch of games that I still had, that I brought back with me from my old place in Bristol. I had loads of games, by the way. I had like 4 shelves worth of Xbox 360 games. A lot of it crap, but a lot of it was worth a bit of money. So I just traded lots of it in. We managed to get a PlayStation 5. I bought a new phone, the one I'm filming on right now, 1X, and of course my PSP here. And yeah, I fell back in love with it. I played it way more than I did when I had one new back in 2007 or whenever it was, and absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it. It's one of these consoles that you can just pick up and play. Play it for like 20 minutes. There are lots of like really good racing games that you can play for like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then just get on with your day, that sort of thing. If you're a bit bored, just play this for a bit. No internet connection, just play the game. And of course, the games are the games on there. They come in these really cool. I've talked about the PSP quite in depth in another video, but what always makes me smile is the uniqueness of the media type of the PSP, and that's the UMDs. They're basically, well, not basically, they are optical discs that you play on the go. And one would think like, oh, is that not a hazard for when you're in a car and they all jump? And the funny thing is, even back in the day, no, they weren't. And I don't know what sort of technical wizardry they did to stop that from jumping, like the old portable CD Walkmans from back in the day, which were notorious for jumping when you were walking and stuff like that. But they didn't. And that's what's missing from like current portability consoles these days, is the uniqueness. But getting off track here, PSP is just one of those cozy things. Again, like the Switch, I will play it, but although I'll play the PSP in far more short bursts, so I'll find like a corner, I could like play it for like an hour. I can play like certain racing game, or if it's a more in-depth game, play GTA, Vice City Stories for an hour and a half, that sort of thing. These games for the PSP are kind of like explicitly designed to be played in shorter bursts, as opposed to games on the Switch, where you've got a vast variety of games, from like in-depth role-playing games or platformers to just sort of time wasters like Picross on the Switch. Whereas PSP, they would distinctly design the games so you could play them in bursts, where they would save quite frequently. Levels were quite short. A lot of the games on PSP 2 are relatively short, outside of a few outliers like the GTA games and quite a few JRPGs on the platform. But a lot of them, like the action adventure games, like some of them were like 2 hours, bear in mind, which if companies did that these days on a portable, I think they would be crucified. But I think that back in the day of the PSP, the games were like relatively cheap, even brand new, so it wasn't that much of an issue. And even now, speaking on this video, PSP games are relatively cheap. Will they stay cheap? Will the console stay cheap? Probably not, the way things are going at the moment, where people are going back and trying out these new consoles. But the PSP, it's just an absolute love of mine. I've got, looking behind me here, you could probably see slightly in the corner of the camera there, the collection on the shelf there. I've got about 50 games now for the PSP. Probably like 4 of them I spent actual cash on, but I bought with CEX voucher the rest of them. That was kind of like my overall goal with the PSP, is to like spend as little money as possible, because the console itself I didn't spend any money on. I bought with voucher, and that was my goal, to kind of like portable game on a budget with that system. And it's been wonderful, because there's so many variety of games with the PSP. And as an older gamer, and I'm not going to say I'm an old man, because I'm only 33. That's not old. Probably to some you Gen Z types and Gen Alphas, I'm probably ancient to you. But I find it just great. The only thing I do find annoying with the PSP, I would like to get a grip for it at some point, because my hands are quite large and it can cramp up my hands a bit playing it. But I just love the experience, and being older, trying out these newer experiences. Because when I was younger with the PSP, I was like, what, a child at school, so I couldn't really afford all the games and all that. I had like all the sort of like heavy hitters, as it were, but I didn't try like all the games out that people say are bona fide classics. Whereas now I can try them all out, because I've got adult money and vouchers that I've saved up through CEX, which I know some people go, oh, CEX vouchers and all that, but it's been great. I can take a chance on games that are like 2-4 quid, and be like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And if it's crap, it's crap. It doesn't matter. I'll just take it back or just trade it in, that sort of thing. And I've just been enjoying it. It's like that sort of next cozy up corner system that I can have. And I just love, like, first thing in the morning, like when I wake up, make a coffee, and just lie in bed and just play it for like 40 minutes to an hour, play like a good racing game, or Metal Gear Solid, which I bought last year, I believe, for it, portable ops. But yeah, that's the PSP. That was my next stage of my sort of portable renaissance, and I'll get into the 3DS and the GBA again. So the 3DS is a console that I did own. That was right at the tail end, because I think I got one when I was about 18. Yeah, 18 originally. That was at the tail end when I lost interest in portable gaming at that stage when I was late teens, early 20s. Because at that point, when I wanted to play video games, I wanted to be playing the quote unquote proper consoles, as I put it. I know I was a stupid teenager. um, yeah, but I lost interest. I think by the end of like owning a 3DS, when I had interest in it still, I only had about 6 games for it, I think it was. Um, so I lost interest in it quite quickly, which is really bad considering the 3DS was a Christmas present for me in 2011. Um, yeah, the games I had weren't bad. I mean, I had Super Mario 3D Land, I had Ocarina of Time 3D, I had trying to think off the top of my head now. I had Paper Mario Sticker Star. I know people don't like that game, but I personally think it's alright. Um, I try to think, what else did I have? I had Majora's Mask 3D and that sort of thing, and Mario Kart 7. But it wasn't until this year, at the time of recording it, I picked the 3DS back up. My partner's, and she's got quite a selection of 3DS games. And the one game I wanted to start off playing, because I'd never played it before, I wanted to play it back in 2013 when it originally released. But obviously, if you know 2013, that period when it came out, um, my attention was divided elsewhere in games, aka Grand Theft Auto 5. So the game I wanted to play on the 3DS is Link Between Worlds, and yeah, really enjoying it, and especially now I'm playing it. I'm trying to unfold it, by the way, on the 3DS XL, because I only had a tiny standard 3DS originally, the ice white one that came with Mario 3D Land back in the day. Very small compared to that. And when I'm playing portable consoles these days, I want a big screen. I don't want to be cramped with my hands, that sort of thing. Which is funny because I'm talking about this too, because this screen's tiny, but bizarrely, I don't get cramp issues with the GBA. Um, but yeah, the 3DS and Link Between Worlds especially. I've also played New Super Mario Bros. 2, which is the sequel to the first one, obviously. I don't know why I prefaced that. Um, but New Super Mario Bros. 2, great. I remember it getting kind of like reviews at the time, but I think that had something to do with the fact that they also released New Super Mario Bros. U the same year, so there was 2 of them the same year. Which what were you thinking, Nintendo releasing 2 games in the same series at once? But I digress. Yeah, I really like it. Like the over the top, all the multi coin mechanic, that sort of thing. And Zelda: Link Between Worlds is just an enjoyable game, where you can tackle dungeons in any order you want, because you don't unlock items in the dungeons in this game. You rent them from Ravio, who takes up residence in your house, the moocher. No, I'm joking. He rents you the items you would usually unlock, and you could eventually buy them off of him through exorbitant prices. Yeah, the capitalist economy is bad in Zelda too, but yeah, it's a fun game. I haven't finished it yet, and game I'm going to be getting to on the GBA is another Zelda game, Minish Cap, quite often forgotten, and yeah, I just absolutely been loving portable gaming, and I always go back to my Switch, and you're probably wondering, what are these Joy-Cons? They're not Nintendo Joy-Cons, because my old Joy-Cons crapped out on me because they kept disconnecting. Thanks, Nintendo. I got third-party ones sent to me through Instagram, that sort of thing. But anyway, just love doing it. Love playing portable gaming. Just love curling up in the corner of the sofa, just playing it while my partner's like watching something on the telly that I'm not particularly interested in, or she's playing a game. And or just in the morning when we're both off and we're playing games, having our coffee in the morning before the day starts. I just think there's something inherently cozy and something brilliantly slow paced in a good way about portable gaming as you get older, because sometimes you don't want to go through the rigmarole of booting up a console. In my case, or in our case here, all of our consoles aren't plugged in, we unplug them and turn them off for obvious reasons of saving money and power, that sort of thing. Sometimes you can't be asked to do that, so you just pick up a console, like my Switch for my dock or my PSP just on the side, and just sit back, relax, because generally 9 times out of 10, the game just starts on these things, as opposed with modern games. You have to install them. You have the somewhat laborious intros to games where they have to introduce you to a million mechanics. And sometimes as an adult, after a long day where you've just been, even if you've like not been to work, you've just been clearing the house doing chores, just want to sit down, play a game that just starts, that sort of thing. And I think that's why a lot of older people are starting to gravitate towards portable gaming again, um, because there is that sort of inherent sort of similarities of picking up a book and just reading a few chapters or playing a few chapters in the game's case, and just put it down and going back to whatever you're doing. And you can do that with portable games, and I love it personally, and it's fantastic. Um, Sorry for the bit of sort of like unhinged and sort of sporadic video of this one. It's something I wanted to talk about. It's more sort of just me putting my feelings out there about portable gaming as I get older. Um, I will get back to like reviewing games like in depth properly, that sort of thing. But I just feel at the moment I just enjoy these sort of like on the fly editorial type sort of videos. And I hope you enjoy them too. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.